Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another unboxing video, and let's get right into it. So, obviously, as a citizen, this is my first one. I've considered a few, mainly the divers, like or the NY series, like the ones like kind of looks like an SKX, Seiko SKX, but I guess it's more destro. It's got the crown at the 8 o'clock on the left side instead of like around the 4 o'clock on the right side of Seiko's. Um, the new Barnacle, I forget the reference, but it's it looks more of a looks a little bit more like a traditional vintage style diver. It's got Mercedes hands, titanium, pretty nice actually, and I think it may share the same movement that's in here, this guy. But I decided I wanted to do something different, and I didn't want to do something that I think a lot of other people have been doing. And this one caught my eye. Wow, I think it's been about a year since it was announced and came out. And right now it's October, or no, November, early November 2022. And well, we'll get right into it. Actually, I did unbox this earlier, but I kind of packaged it back so that you guys can see it. I don't know if this is standard box or not. Probably. I haven't had a Citizen ever until now. And here we go. Kind of a nice like linen pillow. At least that's what I think this kind of feels like it's made out of linen. And here we go. Focus. This is, let's get this right here. The Citizen is a Series 8 watch, and let me adjust my lighting slightly if I can. Move it back just a little bit to catch the light better. This is the Citizen Series 8, model 830 NA1010-84X. And yeah, this is kind of like a sporty, I wouldn't consider this a dress watch, even though there's a number of high polish elements. But I consider this like kind of like a sports watch. It could be an everyday watch. It's got like this integrated bracelet look, like an AP or Patek, or I guess like micro brands I'm thinking about, like my Mondial DRZ04 from Dorenzo. But this is actually, let me get a closer look. This is not actually a true integrated. It looks like it, but this section here, let's kind of make it out, is actually comes out. See how the spring bars are. And yeah, so you can actually take that out and actually use other straps, no problem, I believe. Hang on, let me check something. Okay, just have to recheck the measurements. So if you took the piece out, you actually have 20 millimeter lug space. So you can put 20 millimeter straps in there, but this part of the bracelet flares out a little bit to 22, but it does taper down actually to 20, and so it's 20 all the way down through here, and the clasp is not any wider. It's not the same thickness, which is pretty cool. Usually at the bracelet it tends to bump back up even a little bit due to point clasp. Milled. There's no micro adjust on this, but you know, you get half links and full links, of course, and they are looks like some sort of pin system, because you can see there's the arrows pointing down, so I think you tap them out this way, and I shall see when I size the bracelet. It's mostly brushed on the bracelet. The case itself is primarily high polish. You can see that's why I kind of kept this thing around. The thing is, especially the bezel, it will be a bit of a fingerprint magnet, if not potentially scratch too. But whatever, I don't trip too much about that. You'll notice though it does have vertical brushing on the top face of this. I guess it's kind of octagonal case shape, right? You can see the brushing, and then the rest of it's mirror, high polish. It's a nice shape, I think. And dimensions real quickly, 40 millimeters, 11.7 thickness, and you can see it's sapphire crystal. It's got a bit of a dome to it. It's pretty nice though. You got this pretty cool distortion actually. It's actually helps to magnify and bring out the details of that dot, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment, because that's really the star of this. Lug to lug, I measured, well, because you see how, I mean, it's technically female, but it doesn't really bend, but you do get a pretty good fold over. If you measure the outer part, it's about, what did I put down? 52. Focus. Sorry about that. I'm trying to lock the focus here. Hold on. Come on, lock it. Sorry about that. I don't know why I wouldn't do it. Anyways. And there we go. What was I saying? Yeah, so 52, but it angles down pretty good. And if you measure it right where the spring bars are at, it's actually, I think I got about 43. So if we put on the strap, it'll probably wear pretty nicely too. But it's actually not that bad. I'll show it to you in a moment real briefly on my just under 7-inch wrist. And the dimensions there. So this uses like one of the brand new movements. It's one of the, what did it say? It's a higher end movement over like there's, most people will go with in the 9000 series, either the 9015, which has a date. That's a great movement. Rotor wobble. This does, I think this is, you can kind of hear it. Yeah, it probably has the same thing because it's a 9000 series. But this is a 0950. They actually made, I think, two calibers, 0950 and 9051. I think that's the other one. But this is a higher end movement, which has a daily average deviation of -5 to +10 seconds per day, which is pretty good. It's better than most Miyotas, and definitely a lot of Seikos, which have like I don't know, I think they're like -20 or 30 to +30 or 45 or something like that. It's pretty wide variance, and so I'm going to see just how accurate this is. I'm hopeful that can be even more accurate than the extreme ranges of the stated tolerance of -5 +10. Just to go over it briefly, it's got 50 hours of power reserve. The beat rate is the movement, the hand sweep is like at 4 hertz, so that's 28,800 vibrations per hour, and 24 joule movement. And what else is there? It's supposed to be pretty anti-magnetic as well, up to 16,000. I don't know, AM. I just wrote it down right here. That's from the site. I'm not sure what the units are, but anyways, they said it's more than 3 times the industry standard, which is 4800 AM. So that sounds like it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to check it out to see exactly what that means in actual practical usage. Uh, this is a JDM only model, and so you can, they don't sell it in the US. It's pretty much you got to get it from Japan. This specific version with the mother of pearl dial, which we'll get into. Actually, back there you go. Back it up. Because the light coming from behind the watch was just the angle of my lighting here. Let me actually move up a little bit so I can push this back so you can see it better under the light. There we go. See, refocus and turn down the exposure a tad. And it's got AR coating on this dial, and the sapphire crystal. Looks like it's, to me, it looks like this is blue because you can see kind of that colored cast. But it's kind of neat because the dial itself, you can see, this is one of those ones you have to see in person to really get the full effect. But it's basically, let me get you up close actually. And just down. This is actually a mother of pearl. I want to show it off a little bit better, but it's kind of hard to get that just right without hitting too much reflection from above. Maybe I can do it higher, or should I do it lower? Maybe down here. Hang on, let me just re-angle my camera just slightly. This would do it. Well, when you get a pretty domed crystal, it tends to reflect from multiple angles a little easier, so it makes it harder. But anyways, getting back to this, you really have to see this in person. But you can see it's a metal, like they call it a triangular. It's a metal frame that shows triangular geometric matrix, kind of like a lattice design. You can see here. Let me just get up close so you can see it better. And so that's cut out. So it's basically kind of like a sandwich dial. And so underneath that is a mother of pearl disc. And that's where all that kind of color is coming from. And underneath that it rests on top of a metal plate. So the mother of pearl is actually sandwiched in between this metal frame kind of upper surface and a metal plate underneath it. And it's pretty nice. And you can see, I'm just going to get up close so you can see some of the details. How should I angle this light so that's not so... Anyways, let's read. Have something here to block some of it, but you don't get the full effect either. Sorry, it's a new setup I'm trying to work out. And you can see, hopefully, that the details in this thing, on this dial, besides that last word, you look on the outer edge, the way I guess it's a chaptering or minute track is done. And check out those, the indexes. I mean, the handsets are nicely polished and skeletonized, and they got Lume as well as the ends of the outer edge of the indexes. And this, just look at that. I'm just gonna be full brightness. You can just look at that dial. All the details, like a silver ring right in between the disc and the outer chapterings. I mean, it's pretty cool. And then like these almost syringe-like minute markers. I think they actually, well, supposedly they have like they float over the dial a bit, trying to make it out. Maybe not the very tip. That seems to actually be on the dial or very close to it, but the metal part of the index seem to be just a little bit above it, perhaps. Hard to tell, but it's got a nice 3D effect. And you can read the markings. I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but you take a step back. I mean, you look at it, especially in person, you can, I mean, it's not the easiest, but you can make out each minute because, you know, each one of these, you can see that like right there, that one's a little bit, just a little bit thicker than the other ones, and that one, those are the actual minute markings. But let's go back, playing back. Let's see this on wrist, but you can see if you get it under the right lighting. I can't wait to see this outdoors. The way the camera works, it's kind of difficult to balance out being able to see the effects of the dial and what's going on there, because you kind of need some light hitting it almost direct and bouncing it back without getting too much reflection. But when you see this in person, your eyes can see it better and filter out some of the stuff that's kind of distracting in camera. I'm on the Seiko Zimby 16. It's one of 2 recent Thai exclusive limited edition watches. And just have it on Erica's original. It's white with the black accent. And it's got a dual-to-point clasp. And, you know, not a lot of micro adjust, but it does have half links. I think you can dial this in. Of course, I'm going to have to remove some links to size it in. Let me back it up a little bit now. You can see it works pretty well. Sometimes you zoom. It's good to use a telephoto setting because it knocks out a lot of the distortion that a wide angle lens gives you. So, but then I have to kind of pull the camera back slightly so you can get more than just a close look at this. Hang on. So I can get this up higher. So I don't know, I like the effect of that dial. You get like that green or teal color with some bit of purple. So I think some areas pick up a little bit of blue as well. And so you got this really cool dynamic effect. And what's good about this is that, you know, Mother Pro is pretty cool, but sometimes if you got too much of it, it can be a little overwhelming. You know, imagine if that was gone, you just have a straight Mother Pro dial. I mean, it's a pretty brilliant effect, but this is a way to just capture some of it, and it can look pretty subdued and simple at the same time. But it's just when you just turn it at the right angle and you start to pick up those colors, it gets really interesting. And I think that besides the case shape and everything, and the distortion of that crystal, the way it magnifies some of the details actually, which is kind of cool. You kind of want to be able to see the details a little bit nicer up close at times. And then also, you're just going to, I find myself, I believe, will be looking at this and just trying to, you know, move it a little bit just to get that lighting effect off of the dial and just see how that plays with the rest of it. I think it looks pretty good. And I just like the fact that it's something different, not your typical Citizen. And I don't know too many people that have this and go for it. It's not cheap by any means. Not super expensive. There's definitely more expensive Citizens, but back this up. Not bad. I like the crown guards, the way they're like screwed in, and it's just angular, and it kind of reminds me of, I think Oris does something similar with their Aquas. I mean, it's not the same design look, but I think they do something by screwing in the crown guards into their Aquas, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, you'll definitely be seeing this around in social groups, or at least when I post to them. And I don't know, I mean, what you think. It's not probably a watch for everyone, but that's fine. Actually, these things that you don't always see are the ones that I generally try to gravitate towards, you know, if they're not limited editions where you're not going to have that many of them floating around, or something like this that's probably rarely picked up by many people, but I think it's a pretty nice addition here. And I think it can give definitely Seiko a run for its money for something unique and kind of high end. I mean, I know you can dial in some Seiko movements, but the fact that this should come in at -5 to +10, that's pretty darn good. You know, what you think about it. Well, okay, that's about it. So again, thanks for watching, and I better not let it flip around and smack the table. Anywhere I can put it. End it by curious what the Lume looks like. Where is my black light? Should be blue. Knowing Citizen, they usually use blue. And it is. Let me see if I can darken this up a little bit so you can kind of make that out. And the Lume is usually pretty potent. I think they're pretty much on par with Seiko for the most part. A nice effect, especially if you do something like Average Bros, low light transitions. This thing would look pretty tight. Anyways, I gotta get this size and give it a test run. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.